posting of the meeting? Alright, nothing more, we'll move on. Discussion on the village flag.
When did we find out about
I'm sorry?
the symbols?
I guess that's me.
Yeah.
I made a search of the different hate symbol databases, and there's a lot of jerks out there. They use a lot of symbols. In my appraisal of it, the closest thing is called a life rune. It is in these ways different from what is represented on the flag. It is inverted. It is truncated on the branching arms, so it's like the peace symbol, but it's truncated. It is often encased in laurels when it's a hate symbol, and it is not in any way curved. That's the closest thing. I think that's very distant to even, I think you have to try to see something like that be represented in that flag. So that being the closest, I had no concerns with my research. I, of course, knew that any relationship would be incidental, but I did not find anything that satisfied any concern, created any concern. And if you accept my judgment on that, then it's just about the particulars of the flag, or do we want to proceed with it?
I think, sorry.
Go ahead, Becky, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I seem to have missed the 2 meetings that this flag was discussed, and I've not ever seen the flag until just now. So I didn't know what all the discussions had been prior to it. I kind of like to open it up to the community as well, like we did with the logo for the bicentennial. I don't know the needing images and things like that, any kind of discussion on costs of creating, or any further discussions that were had on the previous meeting that I was not able to attend around it.
Some of those points were brought up, but we didn't go into great detail in discussing any of that. I've given it a lot of thought. I think it's a great effort and a lot of thought and work put into it, but some of my thoughts were, it really encompasses the whole Three Rivers area, not specifically just Cleves. And if we were to adopt it, we would potentially be setting a precedence where anytime anybody brought anything down, then we would feel obligated to adopt it. But what in thinking about all of this, the thought that I had was maybe us consider adopting it for a specific time period. And then after that time period, not putting the Cleves logo on it, but because it does encompass the whole area, then maybe we could adopt it for a specific time, and then when that time is up, maybe he could take it to the other village councils and ask them to do the same. And if it makes its round to all the communities in the Three Rivers area, then maybe after, at that point, donating it to the Historical Society. I don't know how anybody would feel about something like that.
Should he go to those other communities and, as well, for
Yes.
presentation and get buy-in
Yes.
to do that kind of structure, and we could do what you said on the
That,
timing?
that was just my
All
thoughts
on
on it.
board.
I-
Everybody needs to be on board.
I think if we adopt it as the Village of Cleves flag, I think, I agree with you, it should be open to the whole community to put input like we did with the logo and a lot more thought and research. But I think it's a great idea, great effort, and I would like to do something with it. I'm just not sure that I'm willing to commit to that being the flag for the village forever.
But it's Three Rivers, right? Not just the village?
The flag,
The whole Three
the
Rivers
flag
thing.
does represent the whole Three Rivers area. It represents all three rivers, so it does really represent the whole area.
Then he should go to the other, Addiston, North Bend.
I mean,
whatever.
even if the other villages didn't want to do anything, I think, we should still consider adopting it for a specific time period. And after that time period, if the other villages don't want to do it, at that point, you could go ahead and address it with maybe the Historical Society, that they be maybe they could take it after that. That would also, if we do it for just a specific time period, that would alleviate some of the thoughts about the cost and replicating it and all of that.
Can I ask a student, can you come forward for a second? I just would like to ask him, was this for us, for the Village of Cleves?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the thought last time was just put the logo in the middle of it and have it for the Village of Cleves flag. Was that your,
Yeah, and I have designed and sent a version with it to the council. And I would like to add just
Since Tiffany wasn't here, do you mind holding it up and
Sure.
explaining to her that the meanings behind your colors and the different symbols?
got my awesome.
I've done some research too, as far as, like logos and flags and different things, like pins. They belong to actually the clerk. The clerk is the keeper of the documents. It was discussed that maybe we would put it in the Historical Society under glass, you know, but it really belongs in the village. And it belongs, the clerk is responsible for all documents, all anything that has to do with a municipality.
I was
It
thinking-
belongs in the office of the clerk.
I was thinking the historic, Three Rivers Historical, because once he explains all the meanings behind it, it encompasses the whole Three Rivers area.
It might represent more than what he's even expecting.
Well, let's just
Because
hear-
it can span outside of Cleves. I'd really like points you should bring.
Okay, I've got the tricolor here. The top is represents the Great Miami River, then the Whitewater and the Ohio River. Right here we have the Harrison Tomb, and then this represents the canal tunnel that used to run through Cleves and still actually does. I'm sure you all know the entrance is just up the hill a little bit here. That's, and then as proposed, the village logo would probably go somewhere around here, though I have made a design separate that if you wish I could send you that. I put the logo here in the corner, just as a second option for you. Any questions on that?
Maybe if it were shared by all three villages, you could have all three logos. Or switch it out when it comes time for them, or just leave it like that since it does represent the Three Rivers versus just Cleves. I was thinking just specifically
If
for
the
a Cleves
communities
flag.
were in agreement, I like it the way it is without the logo.
I think too, kind of along the lines of Ms. Meister, you know, having that, say it's here for a year, North Bend for Addison for a year or whatnot, and that goes to the Historical Society, that may kind of bring up a design program, which, you know, we could do that maybe on a yearly basis if the students from the high school want to do a different flag or, you know, have a competition for a flag, then, you know, that may be represented through the
Was this
village,
part of
things like
a
that.
school project or a school?
No,
I
before
think
the
took the initiative to do that.
started, I decided I wanted to make a flag for Cleves. That's all.
So I think in and of that initiative, not only that, but it could kick off unintentionally, but there, you know, maybe a design program for these.
Span
Should
more
we
than
put
what
a-
you're expecting.
A structure around something like that? I mean, should he go to the other communities as well, or just make a
that-
decision on?
That's totally, how do you feel about my thought about it being the whole
Hearing that.
Three Rivers community? Would you be opposed to that, or?
Not in theory, but I feel that I wouldn't have much of the time to go to all the council meetings to try to get it adopted and reason stuff, and I kind of feel, personally at least, that it has more of a connection to the village of Cleves, and I'd like to see it as like a reminder for just the village. I'd like to see it like span over years. I'm not opposed to the idea of it being adopted for a year, but I would prefer to see it adopted like indefinitely with the possibility of, I suppose you could vote to have it changed or something else, but I would prefer. Yeah.
I'm thinking involving the other communities, because the Harris and Sims Memorials in North Bend and the Canal Tunnel actually runs, I mean, the opening's in Cleves, but it runs through Cleves and North Bend.
Right, so both of those items are not,
Hmm.
yeah, they're in North, not included.
Well, I really like it. I just think the only thing it needs is this logo, the 1818. The logo, you just put the logo on it, it becomes our flag, the Village of Cleves. I don't think we can obligate other councils, or we can't obligate future councils. We can't say we're gonna adopt this for 5 years and then a future council. We can only do what's today. We can't obligate other people or future councils.
I mean, I think it's a great initiative. I would like it to be open to the community if that was the route. It's either a temporary or open to the community for the opportunity to, just like we did with the bicentennial logo.
How did that,
Hmm?
how did that happen? How did you open it up to the community?
It was a contest, I
Mhm.
think,
Contest.
through
It's the
the
bicentennial
school.
year.
Yeah, so for
Gotcha.
anybody in the community was able to submit.
It's tough because he's
Very
put a lot of
It's-
courage out there to do this. That's the only
Don't give
thing
them competition.
that, like, he's put, and we haven't had a flag and he puts together a flag, has his grandma sew it, I think, right? Yeah.
He's so
And
good.
then, yeah.
Grandma.
She helped.
Yeah.
She taught her how to sew.
I like your idea, Jerry.
It's tough. I like
If the other communities don't, that's fine, but I mean, I like the idea.
I'm not cool with you opening it up for anybody else to compete.
Right.
So.
You might get some satanic stuff
Could I
happening.
go ahead and propose that we adopt it as our Village of Cleves flag for the next year? At that point, if we want to,
I'll second that.
I mean, we can see if we get community input about it, and at that
Yeah.
point, we can always change our minds and adopt it indefinitely, or if we wanna make any changes to it or anything, but for
So we'll
now.
Adopt it for 2023.
We'll adopt it for the year of 2023.
But with a revision of.
I
having-
like it with or without
With
the
or
logo,
without.
I'm okay either way.
I'm not comfortable with 1 year. I think we should
Well,
adopt
I
it for
seconded
longer
it.
than
You-
1 year.
I second it. You can be yes or no.
Now we got a standing motion. Mr. Brett?
What- can I amend, but we don't do motions all that often. Do we need to go with that? But what I suggest is that you have a 30-day comment period beforehand.
What do you mean?
Maybe the community's gonna be in uproar because of this flag immediately going into
So do you wanna
stat.
open it up to a,
No,
put it
I-
out there
I-
to the
No, I'm
community
not in
and,
favor of a competition at
take
this
other-
time. I think if somebody wants to say, oh no, that Councilman Burns clearly screwed up his research, this is obviously the space alien symbol of hate against dogs, like, I
We
don't-
trust your research, Kevin.
I understand, I'm just, well, I appreciate that, is what I mean.
Why don't you let him decide where he wants to put, the Cleves logo and all
Right.
that stuff in the different spots, then we can vote on it that, and we would like to actually
Yeah.
participate.
This council's discussing it here. It's council's.
Yeah,
point
for
at
20
this
minutes
part of
now.
the meeting. Thank you.
That's worth it.
Well, we're accused of not discussing anything. We're sitting here discussing, now we're being complained about we're discussing it for too long, so.
Okay, just relax.
Well, you're calling people up for stuff. It's like,
I'm
you
not- am I
can't have
being
it both
mean to
ways, right?
you,
So we're
or-
discussing the flag here. So we've got a motion on the floor. How would you like to amend it?
I
Or
made
do
the
we wanna
motion
go
that
with
we
it?
adopt it for 1 year.
I second it.
All right.
And during that year, if you want to take it to the other communities, maybe even, especially North Bend, since it encompasses so much from North Bend, if you wanna take it and propose it to those, you're open to that. If you don't want to, there's no obligation to do that. It was just thought that I had.
Can I amend that motion? Or do I have to just vote yes or no? Because I like the flag and I want to vote yes on it, but I think we should adopt it. We're not, I think we
In a
should
year,
adopt it with
in a
the
year,
logo.
it
We
will
can
be-
review it.
it will
in
review in a year.
You cannot amend my motion.
Correct.
Actually, you can, according to Robert's rules, but that's okay. You could make a secondary motion to a motion. That's okay.
Ma'am, did you wanna say
Grandma?
something?
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
this is just between us, that's
Oh,
okay.
sorry, I saw you over there.
He's in charge.
Roll call.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor.
I second it.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Boyce,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Myers,
Yes.
Mr. Hume.
Can I ask a question, Lana?
No.
You're pretty much past the discussion.
Maybe we hopped in again.
The question was called, so,
No.
Mr. Burks.
Yes, but, I'm all for signing statements soon here.
Not allowed to amend anything.
Well, actually, you could have asked us, my understanding, Robert's Rules of Order, you could have asked Ms. Meister to amend her motion.
Oh, I thought I did, okay, but
So
that's
you-
okay, so we
you
got
al-
it.
You were trying to offer an amendment to someone else's motion, which is their motion, so
Okay, thank you.
that's my understanding
For
of Robert's Rules
purposes
of
of
Order.
the meeting, I would not be in favor of amending my motion, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I will
My
say that,
motion would be as initially quoted.
I will say that the beautification committee is interested in the flag being like banners, because we're trying to add flower pots and banners. So once you get, you know, this logo here on there somewhere, the beautification committee is interested in having it be a banner.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So Ms. Meister's motion has passed.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, after the year is up, what will the council do? Will it be discussed in like that January meeting, or some, what will?
We can discuss it next January 2024, if we want to, another motion to adopt it permanently, or continue flying it, or make changes to it.
Thank you.